fiscal year, we often ask some pundits for their predictions about the fortunes of the party leaders when normal service resumes in September. But as the pundits have proved so comprehensively useless in recent years, today we're looking elsewhere for guidance, specifically to the stars. As I'm not, you may be surprised to learn, a great expert in studying the significance of celestial objects, we're joined now by the astrologer Alison Chester-Lambert. Alison, what are your predictions for Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn?
Well, thank you. So let's start with Jeremy Corbyn. This guy has a sun in Gemini and a moon in Taurus. So this actually makes him very young at heart, and he has great appeal for the young. Now, this year, he can't actually do a lot wrong. He has some very good transits on his side. So he's actually one to watch, and definitely for the foreseeable future. And then we turn to Theresa May. So Theresa May has a sun in Libra and she has a moon in Virgo. Now, her sun in Libra does indeed have some echoes of Margaret Thatcher's sun in Libra, but when you compare the two, Theresa May has a little more compassion and a less intransigence. So Theresa May isn't having a good year. Astrology can only describe what it finds. But what we see is that she's struggling with vulnerability. She is disempowered, and absolutely her strength is dwindling all the time, especially in August of this year. So she's going to struggle. We have a Chiron, which describes people as fatally wounded. And to be honest, the influence around her right now is fatally wounded, and it doesn't seem to get much better in the foreseeable future.
Alison, thank you for that. Ed Vasey, astrologically speaking, your leader's in trouble in August. I mean, what are you going to do about it?
Ask Keith. No, I'm sure she'll
not here anymore.
She'll recover. She'll recover. She'll recover. She'll use August to recharge her batteries and come back fighting. But I have a lot of respect for our resident astrologer, and we're not going to resile from the fact that Theresa May has had some difficulties. But as I say, the Chiron, I think, can be beaten over the August walking in the mountains. What is a Chiron? I don't know, but I'm now adopting.
But you think it can be beaten?
See how quickly I adapt.
You do. You pick up the lingo very quickly, I do. Even when you don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Exactly.
I've noticed that for a while, I must say, Mr. Vasey.
Many years.
many years.
Decades.
Not a bad astrological outlook for Mr. Corbyn.
The runes look good for Jeremy Corbyn. He's going to have a good summer and a good year. I think, though, that the idea that August might be so bad that it leads us into another general election that quickly scares the bejeebers out of me.
Yeah, I know. Your heart just sinks at the thought of that. But there we go. All right, let's go back to Alison. The Brexit Negotiators, Alison. David Davis for the UK, Michel Barnier for the EU. What do the stars behold for them?
Right, OK, so David Davis's chart. So I opened his chart and saw he had not one planet in Capricorn, he has 4 planets in Capricorn. Oh, wow. And so I was thinking, there we go, strength, perseverance, power. This man's got it all. Great, he's on our side. That'll do. And then I opened Michel Barnier's chart, and I was amazed to see that actually he also has 4 planets in Capricorn. Well, that is some coincidence. Michel Barnier seems to have the edge because his moon is in Aquarius, and this can be quite intransigent and very fixed. And he's a very clever strategist, incredibly quite brilliant at it. So I was, oh dear. But looking at next year, it appears that David Davis pulls through. He gets a huge boost from the planet Pluto, so it's as if he's been plugged into a nuclear power station, and at that point he powers ahead. So there we go, certainly one to watch anyway.
Very interesting. So there you go. You better send a nuke to Pluto and take it out.
You may mock me, but I've always said that David Davis was a 4 planets in Capricorn kind of guy.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's
always said that in the tea room.
But did you know Pluto was his ally?
I always said, watch out for that nuclear-powered Pluto, because he's going to take off.
I think it's more Pluto and Mickey Mouse than it is Pluto, the planet.
You mean Pluto the dog? Well, he's got a dog on the side as well.
This is uncanny. Yeah. What happens when one 4 planet in Capricorn man meets another 4?
A nuclear explosion.
Well, it obviously means for tight negotiations. nations, as Alison was explaining. Give us a prediction for this summer. What can we expect? I understand there's a coast-to-coast solar eclipse in America. What does that mean?
Absolutely, yes, there is. So on August the 21st, we have a coast-to-coast full solar eclipse going across America. These things actually usually only happen about once a century or so. But strangely, America has two. It has one on August the 21st and then another one in 7 years' time. This is an interesting one because, of course, if we go back to Babylonian times, then eclipses always foretold of the fall of nations and the fall of leaders. And interestingly, this eclipse hits Donald Trump's chart very, very keenly. So he is rattled by this, and he looks considerably weakened by this eclipse. So who knows? Another one to watch there. Could be exciting.
Wow,
this is cracking stuff.
Well,
you should do this every week.
We're going to do it every day.
Yes, I agree.
Alison, can you tell us, will there be another British election this year or not?
I wouldn't have thought so, but I haven't looked at the astrology on it.
Alison,
could you do it?
Please, God.
I'm a big fan of your analysis, but there's a big Vince Cable-shaped hole in your predictions. Surely Vince is going to power to centre stage. He has 6 planets in his Capricorn.
Yeah. Alison, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
It's just time before we go to find out the answer to our quiz. The question was, David Davis's briefcase has been fitted with a device which blocks electronic signals to prevent spying. But what of the EU